All right, guys, we got to talk about this guy. So his name is Paul Ingrassia, and the name may sound vaguely familiar to you. If it does, it's because this guy, we talked about him previously on the show. The reason you may have heard of him is because he was prominently featured in one of the articles exposing the young Republicans and their group chats and just how overtly Nazi-ish they are, right? In fact, he quite literally directly said, I have a bit of a Nazi streak in me, is what he said. He, again, in a private text message to many people, this is what he said, okay? There were other ones and other people saying stuff about gas chambers, and you know what they do. It's basically, it's called the based ritual. Richard Hanania coined this, former far-right guy. And he says, it's like a race to the bottom. Who can be the most edgy? Who can be the most offensive? And if you can out-baste the next guy, then you're viewed as like, oh, you're cool, bro. You're on the in-group. And so another word to describe this, or term to describe this, is vice signaling. In the same way that they accuse liberals and leftists of virtue signaling, they vice signal. I can be a worse person than you. I can be more contrarian than you. I can be more offensive than you. And that's what they do, right? And so this guy was very prominently featured. He was picked for some high-level position, but he needed approval through Congress. And thankfully, when his pro-Nazi text messages came out, he actually did say, I'm going to step aside, which, by the way, at this late date, anything's possible. I wouldn't be surprised if he stayed in there and Trump turned the screws and said, no, Republicans, you will back this guy. But thankfully, he didn't. He stepped aside. But you would think, in a world that made sense, if there's a scandal where you out yourself as a Nazi, you would think, oh, okay, so he's like done with politics now, right? Well, the answer is no. In fact, if you read this article from Politico, what you find out very quickly is he's been shuffled around from administration position to administration position. He's been with different agencies at different times. I believe he was with the DOJ, and then they moved him to like Homeland Security or something like that. And now, why? Why is he still in the government after being outed as a fucking Nazi? Well, very simply, he rides Trump's meat raw. This guy, I believe he emerged back during the primary when DeSantis was making a run at it and it looked like he was a formidable candidate. This guy came out there, he wrote a bunch of like blog pieces about how Trump's the greatest, Trump's the best. And this is how the Trump ecosystem works, just so all of you understand, is that somehow came across Trump's radar, right? Probably one of his staffers printing it out and showing him the shit. You know how it works. He literally name searches himself and prints everything out, and then he goes through all the stuff that mentions his name, right? So it got in front of Trump. Trump started like writing letters back to this guy, going, amazing piece. I loved your piece. You're a real smart guy. You're a real handsome guy. You're really amazing. So it's I scratch your back, you scratch mine. He plays the role of little fucking cuckboy to the candidate at the time, the former president, Trump, and Trump recognizes it. So as soon as Trump gets back in power, what's the plan? What's the strategy? Surround myself and pack these agencies with every single sycophant you can find, every single yes man, every person who never questions anything I ever say. And so all those people start getting top-level positions in the government. And so now there's nobody with independent thought. There's nobody to reel him in. It's all like the most groveling, pathetic little weasels in the world who their whole personality is defending Trump and Trumpism, right? So he's put in one agency, and then according to the people, they're like, look, man, he's sort of not working out, and he doesn't know how to get along, and he's a little bit awkward. And by the way, what else happens? So he gets shuffled to another agency. Boom. Sexual harassment charges. One of the female workers comes out and says he wanted to like stay alone in a room with me, and it was very creepy, and so they had to shuffle him again. Now he's part of GSA, General Services Administration. Okay, at GSA, he's doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He has no idea what he's doing. And so the people who actually run GSA, they're doing with him like Stephen Miller is doing with Trump, like, here, work on the armrests at the Trump Kennedy Center. Marble armrests. Here, redo the Lincoln bathroom. What an amazing bathroom. Here, knock down the east wing of the White House and build the Epstein Memorial Ballroom. That'll be fun, right? Interior decorating is fun. So Stephen Miller and Marco Rubio and Russ Vought, they tell Trump, like, here, go play with fucking, with Legos and crayons, right? We're going to be over here actually running the country and ruining everything. And that's exactly what's going on with this guy, too, at the General Services Administration. So understand what happened. He sucked off Trump by writing articles. Then he was hired for a very top-level administration position. He needed congressional approval, so he didn't get it. But instead of his "I'm a Nazi" post excising him from politics, it made it so he was at like Department of Homeland Security. Then he got shuffled to fucking like, DOJ or vice versa. Then he gets, after the Nazi scandal comes out, he gets fucking promoted to GSA, where he has even more power. And so this is how Trump's Washington functions. Suck him off with articles, fucking fail your way up to the top, be involved in a Nazi scandal, get promoted after the Nazi scandal. And this is where we are. And so the next time people wonder, like I just saw an article, I forget which outlet wrote it, but they're like, man, there's all sorts of administrative problems now with Social Security, where like they're super backlogged, people have problems that aren't being addressed. We never had a problem with Social Security until Trump. Why? Because these are the fucking idiots who are running the country. People whose only job is kissing Trump's ass. That's all they know is, hey, I know how to be your fluffer. I know how to coddle your nuts. So, you will climb that ladder super high. And this is a hallmark of authoritarian countries, by the way, is you replace experience and competence. You replace that with how much of a loyalist sycophant are you? And like, so all the people with actual expertise and knowledge and know-how and institutional ability, that is all replaced with the dumbest fucking people on the planet whose qualifications are that they joined a cult and they're very loud, aggressive members of the cult. That's what this is. And so have a Nazi scandal and fail up. Have a Nazi scandal and fail up. That's what's happening here. And so, I don't want to hear it anymore. Anybody who tries to give you both parties are exactly the same, just immediately never trust a word they say about anything ever again, ever. Because if at this late date, you're still regurgitating that, there was a time where that intuitively seemed like it was more reasonable, right? In the year of our Lord 2026, not a chance, bro. Not a chance. These are not the same. You wouldn't have somebody outed as a Nazi, self-describing as a fucking Nazi, who Kamala Harris goes, can we promote them? That wouldn't happen. Just like Democrats wouldn't have kicked 18 million people off Medicaid. In fact, quite the opposite. Under Obamacare, they expanded Medicaid. Just like under the Democrats, you wouldn't have healthcare premiums skyrocket, double, triple, quadruple, and more than that for all the country. That's exactly what's happening under Trump, because he said no more Affordable Care Act subsidies. You wouldn't have had 94 million pounds of food aid get frozen like Trump did during the holidays, so people were starving during the holidays. None of that would have happened. Just like they wouldn't have bombed fucking fishermen. They wouldn't have bombed fishermen off the coast of Venezuela. It wouldn't have happened. The fucking bombing streak in Iran, which, by the way, they're not done with that also wouldn't have fucking happened. It wouldn't have happened. So I don't want to hear it. Nazis are failing up. This guy with his little fucking weasel face and his beady eyes. And like, this is the future of politics in this country. People who don't know their ass from their elbow. And their only qualification is they suck Trump off and they self-described as a Nazi. And like, this is a 4chan occupied government. Do you understand that? This is a Groyper occupied government. That's what this is. That's what this is. And so it's no wonder that Trump's approval rating is 36%. It's no wonder it's on the way down. It's no wonder the economy's falling apart. It's no wonder that, it hasn't even been a year and people are losing their goddamn minds, because what did you expect to happen? What did you expect to happen? When you get like the least competent, the least intelligent people in the country who the only thing about them is they love Trump and they're ideologically racist and Nazi as fuck. This is the end result. So I hope it's a little bit of a wake-up call to everybody. But the fact that now Politico is writing articles about prominent self-described Nazis who failed up, that should be a little bit of a wake-up call, shouldn't it? That, like, I don't know, we need a pretty severe course correction. I hope it does serve as that wake-up call. All right, guys. That's the show, y'all. I hope everybody's having an awesome New Year's thus far. Hope you're recovering if you happen to go out and do some drinking. I'm a little too old for that. I'm not a big alcohol guy in the first place, but I love y'all. You guys know the drill. Everybody do me a big favor and subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon. You could also support the show on Patreon and tip with that thanks button on YouTube. You could also go sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. And, of course, go sub to Corin's World so you can see the live Kyle and Corin episodes. All right. I love you guys, man. I'll talk to you soon. Everybody have a great one. Peace.
Hey, y'all. Do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm.
Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.